So, we've had the Prince's Trust. We all know about global warming. You know, the question is, does it really matter? One thing that we also know is that oil and gas is going to run out at some point in time, and we're going to have to do something about it. And there's quite a lot of stuff that the EU have put in place in terms of 2020 and 2050 targets that are very aggressive and that we need to address now. And what I was wanting to do today was just try and show you some of the breakthroughs we've made, because we've made some significant breakthroughs in how to actually cost carbon, so we can cost everything that you buy, so you can see what the environmental impact is, and that's the sort of story I'm going to be taking you through today. Just a little bit about me. I spent 10 years ski racing, and clearly I was very aware of the world melting down, and it has been going on for quite a long time, and that's an industry that has been literally decimated. Back in 2005, the RSA created a sort of personal carbon trading scheme for fellows, and it's something that people are thinking about introducing as in terms of individual carbon budgets. And what we found when we actually did individual budgets was that the carbon calculators were very primitive in that they just told us what the impact was of our gas, electricity, and travel, and they didn't give us any insight into the rest of the things that made up the bulk of our carbon footprint. Personally, we slashed our carbon footprint, and it saved us a lot of money. Then, going forward, BASDA, the Business Application Software Developers Association, got inspired by a guy called John Doyle, who came from the European Union, and he said to us, you know, 2020 is coming very quickly, and we need to do something to address it. And the software industry is actually the people that can provide the tools to make it possible to give people a view on what their actual environmental impact is. And so we all went off and created a BASDA Green Charter, and we joined the charter. But there's some significant things we've done. So BASDA members like Microsoft and Access Dimensions have actually put carbon accounting into the finance system. We've created BASDA Green XML. And then the bit that was lacking was universal carbon footprints, because finance systems track things, but they need to know what the cost of each item is. And that was the bit that we've been really working on to try and crack. To get there, we needed to bring together two sort of fundamental bits of research. There's ISA, which is Institute of Sustainability Analysis down in Sydney, Stockholm Environment Institute, and Sensor, which is the Centre for Sustainability Analysis. And they've done a lot of work on sort of Nobel Prize-winning input-output analysis to make it easier to work out the carbon footprint of an organisation and a sector. And then we developed something called Spend Insight that allows us to automatically classify everything that an organisation buys down to line item detail. And it was bringing those two together that made it possible to have universal carbon footprints. Spend Insight, it was used by the National Audit Office. I mean, the NAO found 500 million, and that was just by being able to look at the individual items, they were able to see the different prices that different trusts paid and different people within an organisation buying exactly the same item, paying different prices. And that gives you some immediate savings per 100 million of spend, and some medium-term savings with a bit of category management. So you can usually save $500,000 to $1.5 million straight away, which helps to provide something to deliver sustainability. Over on the other side of things, Sensor did a complete carbon footprint for the NHS, and that's was quite revelationary, because in the same way people thought that the carbon footprint wasn't just about your energy use and your travel, it had to be around about some of the other stuff you bought. But when it was actually studied in depth, they found out that 59% of the NHS's carbon footprint came from all the things that it bought. And so that's what, you know, in this room, most of the people are in procurement, and so you probably account for 60% of your organisation's carbon footprint. And that's what we're trying to address. By working with Sensor, we were able to use the spend insight stuff and the sensor stuff to suddenly get an accurate carbon footprint for every item that an organization uses, and then also work out carbon offsets. This is just a very high-level slide from what Green Insight shows. It drills down by category into everything else, but you get into where the carbon footprints come from and the level of information about whether it's come from line item detail or just supplier sector or other areas, and what it's made up of in terms of your different greenhouse gases from your carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, etc. The other side of it is looking at suppliers, because suppliers want to know what the carbon footprint of each product is, and historically that's cost an absolute fortune. So you've got Walker's Crisps who spent hundreds of thousands of pounds with the Carbon Trust working out the carbon footprint of a packet of crisps. Now, the problem with that was that there wasn't enough payback to suppliers. So up until October this year, there had only been 1,200 products carbon footprinted by that method. And by working with Sensor, we can now speed that process up, and we've got it up to 46,000. So back in October, Richard Benyon, the Environment Minister, came along and launched our Green Marketplace. And since that point in time, we've been allowing suppliers to get carbon neutral for the products that they sell. And so we've got 46,000 items now that are carbon neutral that you can buy, knowing that the emissions have been offset. It's simple, easy to use system, and that's a sort of public-facing view, because one of the things we found is that there's a lot of people that go off and try and find stuff on Google, and so we wanted to make sure that they could see the stuff and see the green items, and then come back and buy it in corporate procurement systems. So that's the green bit, and that's all the work we've done to try and make it easy to find out what the carbon footprint of things is. There's a lot of work that's going on around about biodiversity in other areas, but the other side of it is what we can do to help you in terms of the lean part, because lean is all about reducing waste and process improvements. Now, a simple example would just be something like domiciliary care, where domiciliary care is care at home, and we're working with the council, and so it's streamlining that process so that when somebody came out of hospital, the details of the care that was provided was sent out to service providers electronically. They could then say how they could provide the care, and we could get the care package sorted out in 48 hours, whereas previously it took up to 2 weeks or more, and there was a lot of process involved. And it's thinking about how you can improve what you do to deliver those sort of benefits. Logistics is another classic example of lean. In the NHS, there's a large amount of products that basically expire. So there's millions of pounds of stuff that goes to waste because the product's expired. By putting in automatic ordering, barcode scanning, you then manage the stock, you don't have products expiring, and you get a better service, less costly, no waste. And the other thing is that lean's not just about IT, we're an IT company, but one of the key bits of just-in-time logistics is Kanban. And Kanban is just simple paper tickets. You put a ticket on an item, somebody takes the item, the ticket goes off, brings another item back. There's no IT required for it. You can do lots of things without having to spend any money, but you do need to improve processes. And that's quite often an issue for procurement, because in procurement you don't have control of the process. You're just trying to buy the stuff in, and then you can look around the organization, and you know, we can all see mad processes in organizations, but it's that is the bit that you need to also change if you want to eliminate some of the waste. And that's where the lean bit comes in. Thank you very much.